One day we will rise above it all.
Now, a special presentation from Eyewitness News. These are Street Stories.
Living our street stories.
Welcome to this special collection of street stories. We begin in much warmer weather than this for a promise kept by a little brother who crushed his fear of flying with his love for his big sister.
For his sister. Hope you're gonna see her when he gets up there.
Raymond Fisher believes he can do anything you can do.
Just because you have a disability doesn't mean you can't live your life. You gotta live every day like it's your last day.
He lived that philosophy with his sister Michaela.
Yeah, give Michaela a hug.
It's beautiful, huh?
She had cystic fibrosis. Raymond has cerebral palsy.
She helped him in any way possible that she could, and he helped her. They were there for each other.
You ready to go skydiving, my man?
On his 23rd birthday, Raymond decided to keep a skydiving promise to Michaela to again show they can do anything. Michaela won't be on the tarmac to see it. She died 3 years ago. But her son's here. And so are their parents.
It's my man right there.
They all believe Michaela will see what you're about to see.
Why am I doing this? But then I thought about her. I know she would be real proud.
Can I have a hug?
Yeah.
And kiss? Love you.
Oh, you too.
You know something? She's gonna guide him down. And I told him, you know, he's gonna be a little closer to heaven when he's up there. Wondering where he is. I'm scared.
When that door opens, reality hits you.
You look towards the tail of the airplane. There he goes. That's it right there.
Woo-hoo! Right there to the right. The parachute just opened. Wow.
A man who is now rarely on his feet landed on them.
Got it.
All right, Ray, man.
Great landing, buddy.
I know I landed on my feet too.
Excellent. Perfect.
Love you, man.
Didn't even seem real that.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah. The adrenaline was, I don't even know how to describe it to you.
He goes, I don't think I breathed. I didn't breathe until I got down.
You loved it. You did. Good job,
You did it, man.
That was a rush. That was amazing though. I would definitely do it again.
About the time Raymond took flight, a farm in our snow belt was making a big comeback from a terrible day.
This one's Annie, this one's music.
Rachel Travis went into business 3 years ago.
My son Isaac when he was 6, 7, 8.
She's one of 7 kids, as marked by their ever-changing heights in a family that includes foster children and a herd out back. Rachel wanted to do her part, so she turned goat's milk into a 5-ingredient soap.
Goat milk soap is awesome.
But last March, with their Rocky Hill Road farm in a deep chill,
The barn was just engulfed in flames and started screaming, obviously.
the Travises were about to lose their extended family as the barn burned to the frozen ground.
Over 50 of my animals died. They all had names. They were our family.
I ran out back, told my kids.
It's still emotional for you.
Yeah, it was really hard.
So I ran outside immediately. I didn't even put shoes on. It was like freezing. And all I saw was the barn in flames. And I just started crying and I couldn't stop.
And it was hard to see the girls cry the way they did. I couldn't help them.
What happened next is part spiritual, part hard work, part community,
My oldest son, Michael, when he was 16,
and all family.
people just stopping by and opening the door and just giving us hugs. We didn't even know who they were. And since then, things have fallen into place. It's like God has just helped us throughout the whole thing.
Now even the goats are working harder as word got out about Rachel's awesome soap. The Travises can barely keep up.
Obviously, we're always going to be sad about that. We're always going to remember it. life keeps on going on. You have to like go with it.
You're the second youngest of 7?
Yep.
And you're kind of the CEO.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's amazing.
About a month after that fire, we watched the first Boston Marathon since the bombings. And one of our colleagues showed us how much work it takes to get to the starting line. Her alarm goes off before the sun comes up.
Bye, guys.
With a chill still in the air, she's off, closing in on what amounts to years of training for Boston.
Put it this way, it's easier to do it in mileage than hours. I'm Susan Hogan.
You're used to seeing Susan Hogan run down Call 12 for action reports. She carries some of that same determination as she puts in not only miles on the road, but also lifts weights, swings kettlebells, strengthens her core, and churns up more miles on a bike.
More miles.
As you'd guess, it's not easy training for the marathon.
I always listen to music, but everyone tells me not to because you want to listen to the crowd, you want to be able to hear them, and they're the ones who push you, to get to the finish line.
Someone else will be pushing her as well.
He was there for my very first half marathon, cheering me on, and I kept saying, I'm going to run Boston.
Frank Hogan was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2007 and fought it off for 4 years.
Thought he had just turned the corner and was doing okay, and then he was diagnosed with mesothelioma.
She'll never forget his last words to her during what she thought was a one-way conversation.
Just having a chat with him, and he opened his eyes and said, I love you, honey.
An injury sidelined her goal of running last year, so she watched the marathon from work.
And I remember out of the corner of my eye, I saw this smoke.
Like many others who will run this year, the bombings did nothing to push her off course.
You know what? I'm not going to let that get me. In fact, you become more determined.
She picked a charity that might help cure what took her dad, and she turned up her training a notch with more long runs and brief conversations.
Early in the morning, the sun comes right over this huge field, and I say good morning to my dad.
She'll wear her father's name on her back and carry his inspiration in her heart, potentially asking for a little help, maybe somewhere around Heartbreak Hill.
When I start going like mile 20 when you think you hit your wall, I have a feeling at that point I'm going to need my dad.
And Susan is running again this year for the same cause and again in the memory of her father. You can find out more on WPRI.com.
Next on this presentation of Street Stories.
There's a hawk right out the window.
He captures what you miss, flying over you anytime you're down city.
There it is. Look, a red-tailed hawk right out the window.
And a look back at a chilling fact. Through the eyes of a record-setting local woman who knows more about ALS than most.
We're living our street story. One day we will rise above.
Welcome back to a special presentation of Eyewitness News. These are Street Stories.
Welcome back to this Street Story special. If you take a walk through the Down City area, or maybe a skate, you may not realize you're being watched like a hawk. Pigeons are their prey. You're just in the way. Check out what this guy on the cell phone missed over his shoulder. Peter Green, AKA Down City Hawk.
That's where the pigeons nest at night. The light changes. Sometimes they're up on the Biltmore Hotel.
Doesn't miss much. You literally have a Hawkeye.
Exactly, yep, I do. You can see in my pictures, the hawk literally flies through people in this park, and they don't even know. There are times when there are 2 hawks here.
He's taken thousands of pictures of what he calls urban raptors. A screech owl tucked inside a tree on the east side. A red-tailed hawk that just took out a pigeon. A touchdown on the Independent Man. And a female falcon in a bird's eye view penthouse at the top of the Superman building. How long has she been up there?
She's been there since 1999, she moved in. So she's been there 15 years.
And she's had how many chicks?
over 30 chicks so far, and this is the third mate. The mates, each year, they have to fight for her.
It all started from his 6th floor office,
Come home and there it is out the window.
where Green first noticed pigeons being plucked out of the air by peregrine falcons.
They come back and forth.
The more he looked, the more he saw.
There's a hawk right out the window, right out the window. Right here, there it is. Look, a red-tailed hawk right out the window. People go on vacations to try to find a peregrine falcon. How perfect. And I get to see it outside my window almost every day. He's looking, he's hunting, he's watching. And you see he's got stripes in the tail, so he's a red-tailed hawk.
And we can verify there is very little luck involved with these pictures. The Down City Hawk spends a lot of time watching these Down City predators. Coming up, we'll get soaked. A challenge that raised money for people like this Rhode Island woman.
Before I knew it, it was 10 years. And then I thought, wow, lucky me.
We'll tell you how she's proven doctor after doctor wrong. Plus, something as simple as a stone is sending a message of hope all over the world.
Welcome back to a special presentation of Eyewitness News. These are Street Stories.
Welcome back to this Street Story special. From this skyline in Providence to skylines across the country, a fad over the summer soaked social media and raised a lot of money for a terrible disease. An ice water shower is a bit too much for Ginny Curtis.
Oh, it is fun. I would do it if it were a nice day.
But the Curtises are watching. Everyone from strangers to a handful of their 7 grandchildren take the challenge.
I don't know how much of a fundraiser it's going to be, but it certainly is, an eye-opener for when that ice hits your head.
Their first glimpse of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis hit almost 30 years ago. Ginny's speech was suddenly slurred. She wasn't as sure on her feet. And then she fell in their garden.
We knew we were in trouble.
The doctor gave her 3 to 5 years to live.
Before I knew it, it was 10 years. And then I thought, wow, lucky me. I went home. Here I go again.
It's been how many years?
27.
It still makes you cry.
It does, because I'm so thankful that I'm still here. I didn't have any grandkids then, but now I do, and I can really enjoy them.
You start actually, being very, very aware of your present tense and the life that you've got and the life that you're leading.
She credits the 28 tablets of 4 different vitamin supplements as one reason why she's one of the longest surviving ALS patients in the country. She admits she has less energy now, but unlike many with the incurable disease, she still controls her hands and in many ways her life. So when someone like Ginny challenges you, you stand still.
Here it comes.
For the chill.
Oh, that was great. Oh, what a good sport. Oh, boy.
There's no doubt social media helped the bucket challenge spread. It did the same thing for something as simple as a stone. It all starts with one stone, painted in memory of 2 loved ones, and then left on a beach.
Went back a couple of days later and it was gone. So we wondered who found it.
They painted more, adding a Facebook invitation on the back. And soon they were hearing from the strangers.
They don't seem to fade.
Who picked up their creations.
There was a lady who said that she recently lost somebody and that when she found it, she thought that it was them.
Take a chance. Live in this moment.
It really warmed my heart because I know that exact feeling that she has.
One of my favorites is memories take us back and dreams take us ahead. Live, laugh, love.
In the weeks before they started painting the stones, Heather, who wants to remain anonymous,
take a chance,
lost a good friend to a sudden tragedy. 4 months later, her daughter lost her best friend to suicide.
He could light up a room just by his smile. If you were having a bad day, he'd do anything that he could to make it better.
So now that single stone left on the beach,
all right, I'll carry the bag and you take them out,
has rolled into hundreds, handed to friends who then drop them around the world. From Ireland to Guam.
Go up the stairs a little bit.
From California back to here in Rhode Island.
My way of saying that he's still here. I'm mad that he's gone. I know that he can still see it. So every time I place one, I wonder what his face is like.
I like to say the stone finds you. So if they find a stone and it says you are loved, maybe that's what they needed to hear that day. It's amazing to think that one little word on one little rock can mean so much to somebody.
So far they've heard back from more than 600 people from around the world.
Next on this presentation of Street Stories.
Happy birthday to you. When you make it well past the century mark, you survive a lot of adversity. We'll look into the past of a remarkable Rhode Islander. To you.
Street Story.
Welcome back to a special presentation of Eyewitness News. These are Street Stories.
Welcome back to this Street Story special. You know what they say, 111 is the new 100.
Happy birthday to you.
Catherine Coughlin no longer counts the candles on her cake, but she did count her blessings before her latest celebration.
Birthday to you.
Are you looking forward to your birthday party?
You have to forgive a girl for dropping a digit.
How old are you going to be this birthday?
Me?
Yeah.
11.
11?
Her hearing is what you might expect for ears that took in their first sound in the winter of 1903, but her mind is quick as a whip. What was Rhode Island like when you were a little girl?
A lot of horse and buggies.
Catherine was driving cars up until a decade ago. You drove until you were 100 years old?
Yes, I went to the market and I came back. And I drove in the driveway and I got out of the car and I said, that's it. And they said, why did you do it? I said, because the traffic is too much now.
No more horse and buggies.
No horse and buggy.
Here's the picture.
She's never been sick with any of the diseases that claimed so many of her friends and loved ones. But she did endure the stress of 2 world wars. When she was a teenager, she knit socks and wristlets for soldiers of the one that was supposed to end all wars.
I just liked to knit and I thought it was a good thing to do.
In the 50s, she lost her husband. In 66, she lost her daughter. Then her son passed away the next year. 5 decades later, they're still with her.
My mind there with me. My 2 children, they are always.
We'd love to show you a picture or 2 of Catherine when she was younger, but a few years back, she decided to get rid of them all. And if you're looking for tips on how she's lived through all these birthday cakes, make a wish when you blow out your candles.
I don't have any secret whatsoever.
How did it happen?
I don't know. You tell me.
As far as how many more birthday cakes she wants, she says she'll take as many as she can get. Thanks for joining us for this special collection of Street Stories. Keep in mind, all of our story ideas come from viewers like you. If you have any ideas, send them our way. Thanks for watching and have a great night.
We're living our street stories. We're living our street stories. It seems the hardest hardest times that come to mind. Remember me out there on the grind, searching for peace of mind. I mean, financially, morally.